Any franchise that's been around as long as Pokemon has is inevitably going to suffer from something called power creep. Power creep refers to the tendency for new content in games to be more powerful than the content that preceded it. New Pokemon, new abilities, and new moves all become more powerful in each new generation of Pokemon, and what used to be at the forefront of the competitive metagame gets slowly phased out as time goes by. When a new game is released, they want you to use the new content, so making it powerful is a way to incentivize that. And while some of these new Pokemon that rise to the top can be fresh and interesting, many of them are completely dominant in ways that lead to metagame instability. Competitive singles formats have rule sets that are maintained by a fan community called Smogon. The most popular format for competitive singles is OU, which is the second highest power level format in the game underneath Ubers. In Ubers, almost everything is allowed, including the strongest legendaries. But OU aims to be a more balanced environment, where the Pokemon that are used are strong, but not completely over the top. As time has gone on, and the power level of the games has increased gradually with each release, the balancing of OU formats has gotten more and more complicated and divisive. Now we're in Generation 9, and this generation's OU has been perhaps the most difficult to balance and divisive generation of Pokemon that I've ever seen. Let's take a look at the effects of power creep on Gen 9 OU. But first, a shocking announcement. It has come to my attention that some of the greatest experts on the planet have put together a hyper-realistic render of the controversial and dangerous Pokemon, Iron Mugulis. This was formerly the highest quality image we had access to, but now we can see Iron Mugulis in its true form, in Ultra HD. I apologize if this is alarming. It would appear that Iron Mugulis is more advanced and more frightening than we ever could have imagined. This particular depiction was created by ShortcakeStar on Twitter. In light of this update, I urge you all to like this video and subscribe to the channel to shield yourselves from this imminent threat. Thank you. Generation 9 OU has been an absolute rollercoaster so far, with a truly insane amount of overwhelming and near uncounterable offensive threats. And every time one of them has been banned, another one seems to rise to the top. While in many ways the new mechanic terrestrialization has been a fun new mechanic that opens up a whole new layer of decision making and resource management, it also serves to make these broken Pokemon even more overwhelming and enhance power creep. Terrestrialization can push a Pokemon over the edge in multiple ways. The simplest way is by enhancing their stab damage and allowing them to power through even things that resist their hits or counter them otherwise. Terra also allows them to become powerful defensive types, to cheat their own weaknesses and become harder to break through, or even just live one key hit and allow a turn of setup. Thanks to the new move Terra Blast, Pokemon can even gain a stab-boosted coverage option of whatever type they want. The Terra mechanic received a suspect vote as a result of these qualities, and although it ultimately was not banned, the impact of this new mechanic on Gen 9's power level is undeniable. Pokemon like this are where the stigma of the term power creep comes from. Every Pokemon that has been banned in Gen 9 OU so far has been powerful in a very one-dimensional way that doesn't really bring anything new to the table, and the presence of Terra has really restricted the amount of possible counterplay to Pokemon like this. A lot of players are upset and confused at the sheer amount of bans that we've already seen in Gen 9 OU so far. But at what point does the blame lie not on Smogon, the fan community responsible for curating the singles experience, but on Game Freak for introducing so much power creep? After every ban, something else rises to the top and becomes a new problem. Even now, after everything that's already been banned, Kingambit has been a point of frustration. And this is another example of blatant power creep, taking Bisharp, giving it higher stats, and an ability that increases its attack even further, who can even cheat its own weaknesses through terrestrialization. Would banning Kingambit even solve anything, or would something else just take its place again? So far, the upcoming release of Pokemon Home, which will be a complete meta reset, has resulted in much more quick bans than normal. Quick bans are bans performed when something is so clearly broken that a community vote on the matter is deemed not necessary. These have usually been rare in the past, but so far we've had multiple in a fairly short span of time. I fear that after Pokemon Home releases, we'll be back to square one with all of these same issues, and even more broken threats to manage. I'm not sure the same amount of quick bans will be justifiable after that point, and the process of suspecting each and everything one by one will be slow and frustrating for everyone. While I'm looking forward to all the new options to play with, especially the Herculean Pokemon, I am not looking forward to the inevitable metagame instability and chaos. I have to be honest and say that I've grown quite cynical about the Pokemon franchise the longer I've been a part of the competitive singles community, but I've tried to be more positive in most of my content about Gen 9. There is a lot to like about the new generation. The nerfing of PP on recovery moves, and the removal of moves like Scald and Knockoff from the movesets of most Pokemon are positive changes that seem to have been made with singles in mind, with some awareness of problems that have existed in the past. I appreciate a lot of the new Pokemon designs too, such as Goldengo, Ceruledge and Clodsire, but Game Freak always seems to take one step forward and 2 or 3 steps back with every generation. The few positive changes are far outweighed by more and more issues, and I think this is the generation where the negative effects of power creep have reached their peak. Hopefully Gen 9 OU will reach a point of stability in the future, but you can't blame me for having my concerns. What do you think of Gen 9 so far? Are you enjoying the power level? What would you like me to talk about next? Let me know down below in the comments. And thank you for watching. Today's video topic was suggested by Tier 3 patron DastardlyDwarf. Thank you for the support. And thank you to the rest of the patrons as well. Become a Tier 3 patron to suggest a Pokemon related video topic just like this one, and to appear on this beautiful end screen alongside your favorite Pokemon.
The money got different 'cause of what I'm spending. The money got different.
Oh, it's
'Cause of what
Megaphone!
I'm spending.
Whoa!
The money
KO
got
by
different.
one hit! It
'Cause
scattered
of what I'm
spikes!
spending. The money got different. 'Cause of what I'm spending.